Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's Golden Win Geekout. I'm your host, Danny. Got my co-host Ryan with me,
Hello.
and we are here to talk about episode 21, The Mystery of King Crimson. More or less another beat-for-beat episode, maybe a couple of extra lines added here or there, but pretty much continuing what happened last week, because holy shit.
Yeah, after Bucciolati got fisted by King Crimson.
Oh, and it just keeps going after that. I mean, you saw, poor guy got like karate chopped through the freaking chest.
yeah, it really was like karate chop action.
I was like, God damn it, man. It was like, it's like, yeah, anybody out there who's played like, yeah, Eyes of Heaven All-Star Battle, and yet for whatever reason you haven't seen this, well, now you know where that move came from.
Yeah. Yep, I recognize that karate chop from King Crimson anywhere. And yes, if only because of All-Star Battle and Eyes of Heaven. And now it's like, oh my god, it's animated. Like in an
Yeah.
actual anime, not 3D. So it's like, oh shit.
Okay, so speaking of animation, let's talk about just how exactly they animated the forecasting for King Crimson.
Oh
So,
yes, yeah. So
okay,
it's
so again, prior to the anime, the manga shows it one way. We see it technically in another way in the games. So it's like, okay, it's more or less the exact same thing. It's just a lot of it is more so like, like background colors, like the manga, or at least in the color scans. It's like very blue. The games made it very red. This actually looks more like space. It's like, well, okay, I guess that's a happy medium. But the way they actually show what it is that the boss is forecasting, so it's like, we saw where he's forecasting, the punches that Sticky Fingers is showing off. And it's like, you're seeing the actual forecasted movements. It's like, it takes on like a red hue. I think it might actually be the same red hue as the aura for King Crimson. I gotta double check that, but I believe that is the case. So, that's more so to separate, this is what the forecasted moves look like versus, the actual movements. So it's like, thank you, David, for production for, kind of like, really, really showcasing that. Because again, this is where I think it's going to help clarify to a lot of people just what in the fuck King Crimson is actually doing. And, yeah, they're playing around with color here, which I think is a very nice touch.
oh yeah.
But not only that, I swear to God, when Ryan and I were watching this, like, the animation is so fucking fluid. That's like, did we jump to like 60 frames per second or something when we were in the forecasted time? It's like,
It might as
the
well
slow,
have been
the
like
slow,
really.
seriously, the slow motion was so fluid.
Oh yeah, really. I mean it's like what was it? Freaking like okay, if you were to watch the scene of like when Sticky Fingers was like doing like this rapid punches in slow motion, it's like I was telling Danny this when we were initially watching it. It's like seriously, so many frames or drawings of Sticky Fingers must have been drawn or put together just to create the illusion that oh no, this is just a no, oh my god, it's going so freaking slow. And it's like, yeah, no, seriously, it's like it technically it wasn't 60 frames per second, but it might as well have been.
I don't know what the hell they did. But I mean, it's like, there's even a moment where, yeah, you see Sticky Fingers, he's punching in the forecast, and you see that that's got the very, fluid movement. But at the same time, for like a brief second, you see King Crimson walks up to Bruno. I mean, it's right before he karate chops him in the chest. And it's like, you're seeing the movement that King Crimson makes to walk to Bruno and literally compare that right next to Sticky Fingers punching. And I mean, it's like, the frames of animation are clearly different here. So that's where it's like, that's the only thing I can think of, is they had to have increased just the animation frames for the forecast, which is like, interesting, to say the least. Because, I mean, it's like you would think, like, oh, he's forecasting, everything's in slow motion. You would think that, it wouldn't go into that fluid animation. But, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, really. It's also at the same time, it's like I call bullshit. They're able to pull off very smooth animation in slow motion, yet they couldn't give faces to Bruto and Trish during the last episode. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, I know.
But
it's like, yeah, it's like, the whole blank face thing. Like, I was okay with it in the first few episodes because it was like, okay, it was in the beginning. And it looked like they had moved away from the blank face and just went into, shadows over the eyes, which I definitely prefer. But it's like, yeah, for whatever reason, it's like lately the blank faces have started coming back. What the hell's going on? It's like, it's like, I can forgive blank face in the beginning because, it was just starting and shit. But now we are halfway through. Why is that coming back?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know about you, but I hope and pray that gets fixed in the Blu-ray edition. I mean, I'm just saying.
I hope so, too.
The Blu-ray release better fix that shit. Amongst other things.
Alright. So also, I guess we can just briefly mention, so prior to watching this episode, I've been trying to avoid Twitter as much as possible, if only just because, personally, my Twitter timeline has been primarily filled with two things. And the first thing is the vast amount of derp faces coming from King Crimson.
Yeah, really. That is literally the only thing that I noticed on Twitter. Like, just this one image of, like, I guess one of the series of derpy faces that King Crimson makes. I guess at one point during the episode. Granted, I didn't exactly see that exact same face when we initially saw the episode, but no, I definitely saw some other amazing expressions from King Crimson, and it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he had a bunch of expressions. It's like, again, kind of weird. I don't know. I mean, it's like, I don't know. To me, that's so kind of weird because it's like, again, we just made this whole point last week about the intimidation factor that King Crimson has. And a big portion of that is how the stand is designed. Yes, the stand is like constantly like, gritting his teeth, frowning and shit. But it's like, and it's like, yeah, that contributes to the intimidating, look of the stand design. And it just looks so weird to see King Crimson with any other kind of face.
I'm seriously, all the angry faces that King Crimson made throughout that entire episode, they were just glorious to see, because it's like, here we see King Crimson looking all creepy and intimidating and shit in the last episode, and then in this episode, it's like, okay, did King Crimson, like, take some notes from Semi-Perfect Cell with his freaking, grinding teeth or something? You see his face, it's like, grrr.
Yeah, really. It's like, I'm actually going back in the manga right now, like, just to see, like, okay, were those same faces, like, in the manga too? Or was this specifically added to the David production, adaptation?
I don't know. Somebody tells me that was just added from David Productions.
I'm looking at it right now. Like, I'm briefly looking through it, and from what I am seeing, yeah, this is a David Production edition.
Well, in that case, good on you guys. That was a great attention to detail. That was great. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I hesitate. It's not a complaint. It's not a nitpick. It's just so weird just to see King Crimson even open his mouth.
Seriously, I am
like this isn't like Oddworld or something where his mouth is stitched shut or something. It's like, no, he can actually open his mouth. His jaw has movement.
Oh my God! What's wrong with your face?
Alrighty, so now it's like, so we get through the King Crimson stuff, and now we pretty much move into the second half of the episode. And oh man, there's a lot to talk about. This is one of the if not the most iconic scene to come out of part 5. So naturally, a lot of people set their expectations really high. And this is this is pretty much the turning point of the whole thing. So pretty much after this, this is no longer about, okay, we got to protect Trish. Now the story's moved into, we're on the run, but we got to hunt down, but we still got to finish off the boss, because, this is like beyond personal at this point. I mean, this guy is such a dangerous threat that's like, yeah, we got to be on the run from this guy, but we got to find his identity. We got to find out something, like some kind of a weakness in order to even defeat him. So that's pretty much what's going to be happening throughout the rest of this story. But suffice it to say, so this moment here, it's like, Ryan, what did you think of the whole moment where Bruno is asking everybody to choose whether to stay loyal to Passione or to betray?
Just hearing that entire scene, like, done beautifully in regards to, like, not solely just for the fact, it's, like, animated, in an anime adaptation, but just from the voice performances alone, it was heartwarming. I mean, it was tense at first, just like how I felt when we initially read that part of the manga, yes. But overall, it's like, my God, it was just handled so beautifully.
Yeah, and it's like, again, like, one of the main reasons why this scene is so iconic, there's so many memorable lines, like, from damn near everybody. So it's like, okay, we've been wanting to hear some of these lines. Like, for Bruno, like, probably the biggest line, I think, to have come out of him is, like, it's like, this world is rotten, but I still want to walk the path that I believe in. That's a big line to have come from Bruno. Fugo's, where he's explaining about how they cannot live outside the mob anymore. You cannot survive on ideals alone. That's another really big line to have come out of this. Narancia screaming about how he and Trish are alike. Abakio talking about how, I swore loyalty to the gang, not to you, but despite all this, I'm still going to come with you, because when I'm with you, I have peace. So, I mean, it's like, every character practically has a memorable line, and it's all from this one scene. So I think this is another one that people were really wondering, like, how are they going to pull this off? Because now we actually get to hear the lines. Yeah! Woo!
Take me with you!
Yes!
Wait! I didn't! Don't leave without me!
Oh, Narancia, hell yeah!
Yes!
And there's a smile that's all over my Twitter timeline.
That's what it is? Oh my God. Well, later, Fugo. Good to know that once again, even in the anime, you's a bitch! That being said, though, like, going back to, like, the famous line that Narancia makes, near the end of the scene, it's like, yeah, I kid you not. It's like, you and I, we were talking about this when we were initially watching that part in the episode, where Narancia was, like, getting all teary-eyed, if only because he come to the realization that, in reality, him and Trish, they're similar in a way. They've gone through similar shit, in their past or whatever. So he has the mentality that, okay, both him and Trish, they're all one and the same. And from there, that gave him the big push to join Bruno and the others on the boat. Before they go out. Yeah, the way that Narancia's voice actor handled that, it's like, oh God, I was okay, that was, alright, as a Narancia fan, it already got me in the feels when we initially read the manga. My God, that same feeling came back and slightly intensified. Just hearing that almost breaking down voice from Narancia. It's like, oh, Narancia, my boy, it's okay.
Yeah, I'd say Narancia's actor did a very good job. Like, I mean, like, you could hear, like, his voice wavering, like, when he's first talking to Bruno, where he's saying, yes, I'm scared, but if you tell me what to do, I'll have the courage to, to just do it. Like, that was good, where Narancia's practically crying when he's, realizing just how alike he and Trish really are. And then, like, where he's screaming, I'm coming with you, we're the same, when he's, like, swimming towards the boat. I mean, that's like, God damn it, man, Narancia, you hit this one out of the park.
He really did.
Alrighty, so then I guess, so with that said, okay, let's talk about Fugo. Because, oh boy, there's a lot to talk about with Fugo here. So, for you anime-only watchers, unless David Production has other plans for him, Fugo is no longer involved in this story. The next time we see him is technically in a flashback, which is part of the epilogue. So, yeah, Fugo is fucking gone. So, yeah, again, we gotta talk about some of these things. So, a little bit behind the scenes stuff. So, from what I've gathered, when Araki was writing part 5, the original plan, he had a different plan for Fugo. The original plan for Fugo was that he was actually going to be acting as a double agent for the boss. So while Bruno would be delivering Trish to the boss, Fugo's job would be to eliminate everybody else. So, I mean, there's literally no witnesses whatsoever. But considering that Giorno has immunity now to Purple Haze from the fight with Aluzo, Giorno would have no choice. He would be forced to have to kill Fugo in order to save everybody else. That was the original plan with what was going to happen. And then I would assume, like, everything else would play out accordingly. Bruno would explain what the hell's going on, and considering how, Abacchio and Mist and Narancia pretty much ended up witnessing, Fugo's, apparent betrayal, all of them would be like, okay, nope, fuck this, we're out, and they decide to betray. Why did we not have that? Apparently, from what I've looked into, Araki at the time of writing was going through some, like, heavy depression or something. Like, there was a lot of dark issues that was going on in his life. And I believe he admits in, like, one of his many interviews that what actually helped him to overcome, this depression and this, dark point in his life was actually writing part 5. It was when he was writing, Giorno and Bruno and all them, their story about how they are overcoming fate. It pretty much gave him the courage to see through his problems. So when it came time to get to this point, Araki had grown so attached to this story and so attached to these characters, he could not bring himself to go through with the original plan. He's like, I can't do this. It'd be too dark, it'd be too depressing, and I don't want to see this happen to my characters. So he rewrote the situation. So instead of Fugo, now trying to kill everybody, Bruno offers everybody a choice. And everybody chooses to go with Bruno, except for Fugo, who stays behind. So that's the situation with what was going on here. So that being said, because Fugo kind of fucks off, this is actually one of my biggest criticisms with part 5. I know I keep singing this thing's praises because this is my favorite part, but this is one of my biggest criticisms. For me, this is what keeps part 5 from being like perfect shonen material, and that's what the hell happened with Fugo. I don't mind that Araki changed his mind. In fact, I actually prefer the change, because I think if he had gone with his original plan, that would have been way too much. But it's the fact that even after Fugo left, It's as if this guy never existed. Nobody talks about him. Nobody brings him up. Nobody wonders, oh, I wonder what Fugo's doing. Not even the Rancho wonders what he's doing. We never get any, brief little flashes of just where Fugo is during all of this. What is he doing? We literally know nothing about what happens to Fugo after this point. And really, the only way you would know what the hell happened to him is if you read Purple Haze feedback.
Yeah, pretty much. So now this correlates back to I'm pretty sure we mentioned this maybe a few times during past Golden Week Geekouts, but yeah, this correlates back to what we were initially asking ourselves when it comes to how David Productions has been handling the anime thus far, and with stuff like Purple Haze feedback. Again, would David Productions actually go out of their way to either do an OVA of, say, Purple Haze feedback, or would they do something else with Fugo? Would they actually do their own thing? Kind of like how they did their own thing with Fugo's backstory, earlier during this first half of the part. What if David Productions were to do, an OVA, 100% original OVA that actually gives, some canon details on Fugo's whereabouts, after this point in the story.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things I'm hoping David Production will add is maybe just a couple of flashes, in every other couple of episodes, or just really give us a good indication just what in the hell is happening to Fugo at this point, because it's not for nothing, it really bugged me, with how they just choose to just leave off this guy. And it's just I'm really hoping that David Production will at least maybe provide some kind of an answer, or even if it's just, every couple of episodes or every couple of fights or something, maybe we get a little, brief little glimpse of just what is actually happening to Fugo during all of this.
Oh yeah, it's much like how it was when they gave Fugo his own a backstory in the anime adaptation. It's I was perfectly content with it, and now it's yeah, it would also be really much like his backstory. It would be really interesting if David Productions were to give some form of indication on what is going on with Fugo, after this moment during the part, whether it be if they were to cut away from all the action and focus on Fugo and his whereabouts for a few seconds or whatever, or if they do an OVA or something sometime after the initial anime adaptation of Golden Wind is done, kind of like how they did that Rohan OVA sometime after Diamonds Unbreakable. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Or just not do it in general. I'm perfectly okay. I'm content with that too. Cause yeah, even with the backs or whatever, I honestly still am nah. All right, that's cool. Fugo's gone. Whatever. Didn't really care that much for that guy anyhow.
Right. Well, okay. Now, I'll put a spoiler here specifically for Purple Haze feedback, because I do feel to give a little bit more context, I will need to talk a little bit about Purple Haze feedback. Again, I recognize, it may not be canon, but it's the closest thing that we have got to context when it comes to Fugo, considering how we just got completely dicked over in the manga. So in Purple Haze feedback, it actually there is a point in Purple Haze feedback where you actually reread this scene, except that this scene is now told through Fugo's perspective. So the way Fugo was approaching this was he was trying to salvage the situation, because he realized, oh shit, something big has happened, and he honestly does not want to see Bruno or anybody in harm's way. So he was trying to basically talk everybody down. He was trying to actually talk Bruno down from this decision, okay, dude, it's not too late. Let's just think rationally about this. There's got to be another way. And, this is where he says his line saying, we cannot live outside the mob. No one can live on ideals alone. He's trying to get through to Bruno. So when Abakio initially said, hey, Fugo's right, and starts bringing up all this, Fugo's like, yes, that's right. Just keep talking to Bruno. Keep, try to pull him back. But as soon as Abakio decided, yep, nope, I'm going, that's when Fugo realized that the situation's completely out of his hands. And it's actually not until after part 5 ends is when Fugo realizes, I should not have been trying to appeal to Bruno. I should have been trying to appeal to Giorno. Because if I had gotten Giorno to change his mind, Bruno, no doubt, probably would have followed. So it's like, kind of a different perspective. Because not for nothing, in this scene, it really does make Fugo come off very selfish. But Purple Haze Feedback, he actually was trying to salvage the situation. He was trying to help everybody. But, for the first time, really, he lost control of the situation. He could not think things through because, remember, he's supposed to be the logical one here. And logic is not working. And he had no idea what to do afterwards.
Right.
Yeah. So, try to think of it like in that kind of a context. Like, I know there's probably a lot of people out there that are immediately hating Fugo right now because, he chose to stay behind. But I think if you look at it in that kind of a perspective, it's like, it's still kind of a dick thing that he didn't come along, but at the same time, it's like, I can't really blame him for thinking that way.
Yeah. I mean, technically, I can't really blame him either. I'm still gonna call him a wuss, though.
yeah, that's fine. You're free to do so.
For shits and giggles, I'm just like, he's still behind. What a pansy.
Right. But yeah, this is actually a big part of Purple Haze Feedback because considering what happens at this scene and what Fugo hears about what's happened to everybody after this, like pretty much Fugo at the beginning of Purple Haze Feedback, he is racked with guilt and shame. So it's like, you start seeing through various flashbacks and you start seeing things through his perspective that, it's like, yeah, this moment and after hearing what happens to everybody else, like after he hears about what happens to Bruno and Abakio and Narancia, when he hears about all of this, it's like, yeah, Fugo is a guilt-ridden mess at the very beginning of Purple Haze Feedback. And, Purple Haze Feedback is really Fugo's redemption arc. This is where it's like, for me, because I'm kind of with you, Ryan. Like, when I first read the manga, Fugo was another one that I really was kind of meh about. And, a big part of that is really because of just what happened to his character. Like, you present this situation that could easily have led to some interesting character development. And no, we're just completely denied of it. So it's like, God damn it, Fugo. But Purple Haze Feedback really did make me like Fugo a lot. Alrighty, so as far as the next episode, so brief reminder, next week is the recap, so we will technically be coming back to Golden Wind Geekout in 2 weeks. But because La Squadra, for the most part, is kind of dead, except for Risotto Nero, but, we're not going to deal with him for a while.
It's going to be a little bit before we get to Risotto's fight.
Darling, you got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go? If you say that you are mine, I'll be here till the end of time.
Less we say about it, the better. Make it up as we go along. Feet on the ground, head in the sky. It's okay, I know nothing's wrong, nothing.
Yeah, so as far as the next battles go, your next stand users, basically think of this with Stardust Crusaders. You had the initial henchmen, which had stands that were following the tarot cards, but then as soon as everyone actually got to Egypt, now you're going up against the more powerful stand users that were named after the Egyptian gods. Similar situation here. We just went through the majority of La Squadra, So now the majority of your fights, pretty much from here on out, they're going to be coming from the boss's personal guard. So these guys are even stronger and even more deadly than La Squadra. And we're actually going to be starting off with another twofer. So very much like Prosciutto and Pesci, where we're getting two stand users at once, we're starting out with two stand users at once. So now we got to predict stand names again. So Ryan, if you remember, our next stands are Clash and Talking Head. And if you remember, Ryan, Clash, best way I can describe it is shark.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and then we have Talking Head, which is basically the Empress 2.0, where it's a stand that when it attaches to somebody's tongue, it forces them to spread misinformation and lies.
Oh, that's right.
All right, so what do we think? Okay, so what is Clash and Talking Head going to become?
Clash and Talking Head. Oh, man, that's a tough one.
I really hope to God they just don't call Clash Shark.
Shark and Talking Head.
I don't know what... It's like, again, like, I can't help but feel as if, like, Clash is going to end up getting, like, a literal name change, kind of like with Beach Boy becoming Fisherman, something a little bit more literal. I just hope it doesn't just become Shark.
Behold the power of my stand, Shark.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, God, I don't know. I mean, it's like, I guess they could find a synonym for Clash.
Possibly?
It's like, maybe? I don't know. Just, for the love of God, don't call it Shark. Just please.
Do not leave it at just Shark.
That's one thing I ask.
You might as well, if that's the case, you might as well call that stand name Jaws. All right, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't care if it's a copywritten name or whatever the hell. You might as well just call it Jaws in that case. I'm just saying.
Right.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know. They could throw out like a different synonym for Clash. They could even change it to something with Talking Head. What exactly? I don't know.
Yeah, I figure one of the words is gonna get replaced, and considering that it's a stand that its specialty is spreading lies, it could be maybe Lying Head or Talking Lies or something like that. Like, I kind of get the feeling like that's what Talking Head's
that's.
I just have no I have no idea what the fuck is going to happen to Clash.
Yeah, really. But it's like Talking Lies or Lying Head or something. I don't know. That actually sounds pretty damn good. If they were to change the synonyms around or make it more literal, it's like, yeah, I can see them doing that. Honestly, I can't really think of anything else, so it's like, yeah, I would go with that.
It's like, I'm suspecting, at least I'm anticipating, that this is probably going to be another 2-episode fight, or maybe like the majority of the fight will take place in one episode, and then the fight will finish up like in like the first half of the next one or something. Like, yeah, I kind of get the feeling like that's where they're going with it.
It's like either that or it's like, what was it? At one point, whether the fight would be 1 episode or 2, at one point, who knows? Maybe what you said was true about, like, the episode, like the series, like cutting away from the action for a moment to focus on Fugo for a little bit. And at that point, it's like, okay, they're getting into another fight or whatever, but whatever happened to Fugo? Seeing as how we literally just went past that point, the halfway point of the show. Whatever did happen to Fugo, and they do something with that.
Right.
Just to, I guess, extend the fight a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, so that's more or less, so next fight, we got another twofer, and it's actually going to be a big Narancia fight. We haven't had Narancia fight in a long time, so, the boys do.
Oh, shit. Wait a minute.
Yeah, this is a Narancia fight. He's more or less taking these two guys on his own.
Is this where he go? Oh, my God.
Yes, Ryan,
stoked.
this is where we hear Narancia's battle cry. This is where... So yes, you'll finally get to hear Naranja's battle cry.
Oh God, yes, please. Please, Japanese Deku, give me Naranja's battle cry, please.
Yes, that is coming. If not next week, no, not next week, because next week.
Yeah, if not 2 weeks from now, definitely 3 weeks from now.
Yes, that's pretty much what I.
But that's too long, though. It's like, God damn it!
It'll come quickly before you realize it.
Yeah. That's a fair point. I mean, seriously, we just reached a halfway point. And it's like, feels like yesterday. We literally just started watching this series together in early October. It's like...
Yeah. It's like, yeah. Like, narratively speaking, yeah, we are pretty much at the halfway point. So, it's like, it came by really quick. So, it's like, it's going to end really quick, too.
God damn it. No.
All right, man. Oh, God, this was emotional.
Yeah. In a way, it was.
I know. It was like last week was just because, oh my God, what the fuck with King Crimson. And then this week, it was just, it was just all the emotions, It's like, I'm in a glass case of emotion. That's really what this was. This was pure emotion.
I love that movie.
It is a good movie.
God damn it.
And then, and then it's like, I think I would be remiss to not mention, like, as I mentioned before, that my Twitter timeline was being flooded with two things. One of them was King Crimson's derp faces, but King Crimson's derp faces easily got overshadowed with the most heartwarming Bruno Bucciolati picture.
Shit.
It's like, oh my God, my heart. It's where it's like, everybody, like, fucking melted with that moment. It was like, oh, Bruno.
It's like, I surprisingly did not see that smile Bruno makes, on my Twitter timeline before Danny and I sat down and watched the episode. So I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll just take your word for it. But then actually seeing Bruno make that face, in context of what was happening, like near the end of the episode, when Narancia makes the decision to join Bruno, Giorno, and everybody else on the boat, it's like, oh God, I get it now. My heart.
It's like, oh, it's like the same face that, like, like mom looks and he's like, oh, my boy's growing up so fast. It's like,
it really was, actually.
There is a reason why everybody calls Bruno the mom of the group. It's like, he is Mama Bucciolati. There is a reason why he is called the teen mom.
That is so great. I love it. Mama Bucciolati.
Yeah, it's like Bruno is the mom, Abacchio is the dad, and everybody else is like, they're like rowdy, rambunctious sons. That is apparently the family dynamic here.
Mister, I will turn this boat around. Oh my God. I love that. But no, joking aside, you're absolutely right. It's like, that is a phase of, like a mother would love, like, no joke.
I think the entire world just wanted to hug Bruno at that point.
Yeah, really.
Alrighty, so yeah, so we'll just leave it on this picture right here with Bruno's happy face. Yep, so with that said, everyone, we will see you in 2 weeks. Unless for some reason the recap offers anything new, which I don't think it will, just going by what happened last time. So otherwise, we will see you guys in 2 weeks.